What is going on, you guys? Says coming at you with another video, and today I want to deck profile my YCS Pasadena. The deck I decided to take to YCS Pasadena. Now, to any of you guys' surprise, I was a big Mech Knight Invoke player, and for those who've been following the channel know that I was pretty much playing Mech Knight Invoke competitively. But I decided to take this deck, and the reason behind that is just I felt Mech Knight Invoke had a really weak matchup against the FTK and Thunder Dragons because you really didn't have that much space for hand traps, as where I feel the Trickstar Sky Striker deck has a lot of space where you can put a lot of hand traps, and it's just very versatile in the way that it can play going first, it can play going second. So I'm just going to pretty much run through the card choices, tell you guys why I played each, and I'm going to be talking about the main deck, side deck, and extra deck. 42 card main deck, 15 card extra deck, and 15 card side deck. I'm going to talk a little bit about the reasons why I decided to play each. So without further ado, let's get into it. So starting off with the main deck, I don't really think you're playing a Trickstar deck if you're not playing 3 Trickstar Candina, and she's basically the Stratos of the deck, where she searches you any Trickstar card you need. So behind Trickstar Candina, you most likely are going to be playing 3 Licorice, and the reason I decided to be playing 3 Licorice is because it kind of just preserves you your Trickstar Candina, because you could just bounce your Candina back to hand, especially your Licorice. These are not overly thought plays. So yeah, Licorice just serves the purpose to bounce back Candina, so you have Candina for next turn to search you more. And finally, Lilybell, which is a card I surprised myself by seeing a lot during the tournament. I probably drew into this at least 5 times, but I wasn't feeling too bad about it because I was able to late game. She kind of gets you there because when she does damage, she gets you a Trickstar monster from your graveyard to your hand. So most of the time you're gonna be getting Licorice. So yeah, most of the time just normal summon her. And the reason I decided to play Trickstar was because Draw and Lockbird just synchronizes so well with this deck because reincarnation draw, which I unfortunately didn't like bust on anybody. So yeah, I wasn't able to reincarnation draw anybody this weekend, so that wasn't too crazy. But draw just served really well in the Sky Striker matchup, in the Danger matchup, which I actually did play a Danger FTK player. In the Goki matchup, this card came in really clutch. Then obviously I played 3 Ash Blossom because Ash Blossom is probably one of the most like staple hand traps in the game. You kind of just have to play Ash Blossom. And I did draw heavy inspiration from the European deck profile. Ping Zhao, he got second place at the last YCS. I think it was YCS London, and he played the Cyframe engine, which was 3 Gamma, 1 Driver. But I opted to play Effect Veiler because Effect Veiler is just personally one of my favorite hand traps. It's like it only could be used during your opponent's main phase, but the thing is that Effect Wheeler is not once per turn, and a lot of the times I did resolve this. I did draw into multiples and was able to Veiler my opponent twice. I remember against 2 matchups, especially against Goki, I was able to Veiler the Summon Sork. He went Mermaid, and I was able to Veiler the Mermaid. So that was just one thing that did come up in monster in the deck that I didn't really see not even once today was 2 Eater of Millions. And my reasoning behind playing Eater of Millions was Thunder Dragon is going to be a very heavy matchup, and Eater of Millions, like, since you don't really need your extra deck that heavily, banishing 5 cards plus playing Desires plus your opponent probably playing Desires makes this thing pretty beefy. And the fact that he's pretty hard to get over, like, during battle, like, it just wastes his resource for your opponent once to get over this, so you don't really do too much. But I just really wanted to play him for Thunder Dragons because Thunder Dragons is this deck's weakest matchup because this deck just searches so much. So Eater of Millions, I was hoping he could help me like combat the Thunder Dragons, but honestly I didn't draw into him not once, and I played 2 of them. But this is the only thing that kind of separated my deck profile with the guy who topped Xiaoping, who topped the second, who got second at the YCS. But yeah, Eater of Millions didn't come up once. I'm probably gonna just cut Eater of Millions and play 40. But this is pretty much all the monster lineup. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, I opted to play 2 Desires because you kind of want to see this card, but I don't want to see it at 3. I just feel that 2 is the good ratio for that card. 2 Terraforming because we're only allowed 2 Terraforming, and then Trickstar Light Stage, which was actually very clutch doing that burn damage. I didn't not win once for time, so yeah, that common misconception where Trickstar players always like kind of trying to win through time, but nah, Trickstar Light Stage just kind of helps you do that extra damage during battle. And then yeah, the actual burn damage does come in clutch because it just puts pressure on your opponent. Then for the Sky Striker part, I did decide to play 3 Engage, and then 3 Widow Anchor, and finally just 1 Hornet Drone. Not much to say there. Engage kind of gets you into all of them. And then Widow Anchor was actually really clutch because I was just able to steal opponent's monsters because you just play such a heavy spell count where I was like Light Stage, maybe Candina get another Light Stage, and then that second life stage out of Licorice, and you're just kind of able to put like spells into your graveyard relatively easy to get you those extra draws or to steal your opponent's monster. The problem I did see is once I got through this Hornet drones, my kind of Sky Striker engine was dead, so I might cut out a few of the Eater, like maybe 2 Eater a Millions for one Ray, because although it does conflict with your normal summon, I just feel like the Sky Striker portion of this deck is like the strongest part. So you kind of just want to get these from the grave with another Kagari, and most of the time I just kind of did go into one Kagari with this Hornet drones. So yeah, I probably would play one Ray, but I did decide to play 2 Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave just being such a good disruption card. It kind of prevents you from getting like Drone Lockbird in this deck, which is something that you kind of don't want, because you want all your searches, you want to go through everything. And I did play 2 Scapegoats, 3 Mind Control, and finally 3 Reincarnation. Now the Mind Control was actually a really good thing, because you're not always going to win the dice roll, so being able to go second and just steal your opponent's monsters to make link materials is just such a good thing. And this was probably one of the best cards in the deck easily. I was able to like mind control your you mind control their Isold one after you like Baylor, after you draw them, and you just kind of link away and start beating down that way. But yeah, this is pretty much the 42 card lineup. Let me talk a little bit about the extra deck and the side deck. So I always recommend to people to have tokens, because visuals, kind of helps your opponent because you do resolve Scapegoat. I played 1 Borreload, 1 Borrelsword, 1 Trisbana, 2 Kagari, 1 Hayate, and 1 Shizuku. Now, in my BA matchup, I kind of prevented myself from going day 2, because I was playing BA, and instead of going into Borrelsword, which I had the opportunity to make, I went into Borreload because I was afraid of that Farfa. I didn't mind killing the Beatrice, so he had Beatrice, and then he made the Big Dante, and then I just decided to steal Big Dante instead of going for game with this. And then after the match, I asked him if he had the Farfa in hand. He really didn't, so that kind of sucked. So I kind of lost my 8th game. I was 5-2 at that time, because I didn't go from Borreload to Borrelsword. And just Borrelsword is just such a good card. It won me so many games, especially being able to mind control your opponent's monsters and just take them for link materials. It's just so good. You take their link 2, you go Candina, you add Lilybell, and then you instantly got Borrelsword. That wasn't too bad. As far as everything else, 2 Kagari felt right. Hayate didn't really win too much into her, but trying to deal extra damage is just super crucial in the clutch minutes of the game. Shizuku, most of the time, that rarely came up, but it did. Like, most of the time you're going to be adding Widow Anchor because you draw into engage. Finally, I played 1 Holly Angel, which I probably didn't go into not once this weekend. 1 Link Karibo for Scapegoats, Link Spider for Scapegoats, Mermaid, because I felt like if I can hand trap my opponent enough, and the best they can do is just give me an Ibly, I could just link away that Ibly for my Mermaid, and that's pretty much it. I have link materials, so yeah, that actually did come up. So I was happy that I did have this in my extra deck, because my opponent was able to just he felt like it was a lock enough just to give you the Mermaid, just to give me the Ibly. But yeah, then I just linked away. It happened just once, but that one time it was really clutch. Managed to win that game against Goki. 1 Phoenix, 1 Cerberus, 1 Unicorn, and finally 1 Triple Burst Dragon for the Sky Striker matchup, the Sky Striker Pure. It didn't really come up. It didn't really come up at all, to be honest. But in theory, it's just so good, because once you kill the Hayate or the Shizuku or the Kagari, they really can't activate the Ray in the graveyard. So that's pretty much it. And this pretty much wraps it up for the 15 card extra deck. If I would change anything, I honestly would probably just cut out 1 Holly Angel for 1 maybe a Deco Talk or something. She didn't really come up, but in theory she's good, because once you link away, you could Reincarnation special summon Lilybell, and then kind of do damage, get the Lycoris, and just kind of just do that annoying like last minute damage that Trickstars are so good at doing. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the side deck, which was probably one of the most disappointing things about the tourney. So let me talk about that. So honestly, guys, the side deck did not come up once in all of the 8 matches that I played, because like again, I only played 8. I decided not to play 9 because my record, I had 15 points, and they said you needed 19 points to advance to day 2. So I felt like staying that last hour just wasn't worth my time, to be honest. I'd rather just look at the matches and see like what are the top tables playing, just to see maybe what I could have done better. So yeah, I decided not to play the last match, and losing round 8, I ended up 5-3. So I decided to call it quits. But this side deck didn't show up once against any of my matches, and I felt like I put a lot of time to like prepare this side deck, and I like specifically knew what I had to side in for what matchups and stuff. So yeah, let's talk about it real quick. Even though none of these cards came up, not once. I played 3 Inspector Border for Altergeist and for the Danger FTK because they really can't do nothing if you just go first, normal summon this, and just pass because it can't activate the dangers in hand. 3 Pankertops for Altergeist. Again, these kind of 2 were for Altergeist because Altergeist they're gonna want to go first, and then this just being so strong and being able to like pop their personal spoofing or pop something like that is just like super crucial. So yeah, these 2 are kind of for Altergeist, Danger FTK, and this was just for anything that I really couldn't beat over when I needed to go second. Then Forbidden Apocrypha for Thunder Dragons, 3 D Barrier for Thunder Dragons, maybe Pendulum, some like things like that, and then finally 3 Evenly Matched. I decided to play a 15 card side deck, and honestly I didn't see not once. I didn't resolve any of these cards not once. I didn't summon any of these cards not once in my 9 matches throughout the day, so that kind of sucked. Even though I put in so much time to like put this extra deck together, yeah, none of it showed up. But again, at the same time, I did not play not one Thunder Dragon. I played really see any of this, but I still would take this to my, like, if I go to another event. So yeah, I really wouldn't change this side deck because I feel like it's very versatile in the way that you could just like put any of these 3, and I feel really comfortable with 3 ofs and side decks. But that's pretty much it. Let's get into some final thoughts. So this was my YCS Pasadena deck profile. I really did enjoy playing. I really did enjoy all my matchups. I'm gonna make a video talking about more of what I experienced at the YCS, but this was just my deck profile. I kind of wanted to do something fast so you guys can see. It was a very like, I kind of felt like it was a very helmet deck because like I told my friends that while at the tourney I didn't really need to think about too much of my plays, and it kind of felt comfortable just knowing what each of your cards do on site. You didn't really need to think too much while you have the space for all those hand traps. So I really did like this deck, and I probably would play it again if Sky Strikers don't get hit. But that's pretty much it for the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoy it. Think about joining that Tier 0 family by hitting that subscribe button. And if you guys do, catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Sesma is out.